Okay, that's how I'm getting myself up in the morning. Alright, so last video I posted, that was basically like the free preview post that I make for a lot of these process posts. Because I do want to get a lot of people interested into what I'm doing, and also as a way to possibly pull in more Patreon pledgers. Because people might be like, "Oh, what is this about? Why is why is this person playing easy listening TV music tunes from the BBC? Maybe I should give them $3 or more to find out more." The secret is this is just, what they will find out ultimately is this is just kind of my thing, for better or worse. So I'm gonna start with just laying down, filling in all the negative space. Technical term. Activating the negative space, so to speak. A lot of the terminology for, I don't, it's like positive, negative. How do you determine? There's so much not intonation. What's that word? Connotation. There's so much connotation that goes with, the words negative and positive, and in this sense, we're just talking about blank space and space that's filled up with content. If you know what you're doing, the blank space, the quote unquote blank space, the space you're filling up with content, quote unquote, are working in tandem. It's like it's like the lesson that I've learned doing these last couple of comic strips where it's like goth club at night. Everybody's wearing black. If I were portraying this scene with the amount of black that was actually like the amount of black clothing and like the whole veneer of the goth club is black, and so it's like you just literally I mean if I portrayed it with black and white in that way, it would just I'd either have to do it as a scratchboard style illustration, which would have been pretty cool, but I would have had to stylistically break up from the way that I'm doing the rest of this comic strip. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but like I don't know. I tend to like consistency. So instead, I have to be design conscious and plan all my graphic elements out accordingly, which is easier said than done. Honestly, what I feel like I need to do is I need to study a little bit more, some more comics by the Hernandez brothers. Love and Rockets is kind of the thing that they're mainly known for, but they have a bunch of other comics that they've done. And one that I've been wanting to keep up with, and I haven't, but I really enjoyed, was New Tales of Old Palomar. That's by, I can't remember if it's by Gilbert or Jaime. I think it's Gilbert. Because I think Gilbert. Is it Gilbert? I'm thinking about this, sorry. Anyway, the other Hernandez brother That isn't Jaime. I think that he I think that he's the one who draws in a more cartoony style, which is how New Tales of Old Palomar is drawn. But both of them they're just both phenomenal. They're both phenomenal. They're both really great storytellers, and they use they use the graphic black and white tradition of comics in a way that is well, like I know I feel like the way they've done it is they've kind of mastered it, and so they're worth studying if that's something that you're into, learning how to do better from like a graphics standpoint. They've both drawn a lot of scenes taking place in punk clubs, etc., where there's also a lot of black clothing. Have successfully rendered their scenes. Been thinking about that a lot, actually. I've been thinking about those comics a lot, actually, while doing this comic. This particular, well, I mean, this comic in general, but also these particular strips. Um, you know, talking as I am now, it occurs to me maybe I should have grabbed a couple of Love and Rockets books off the shelf before I started drawing. But here we are. I think this jacket is actually too long. Yeah, that jacket is too long. One moment. That's not what I want to do. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of. I still need to do a lot of construction of the background. And as you can tell, yesterday I was talking about how. Oh, yeah, I hope to get this fully inked so I can just do lettering tomorrow, and didn't quite work out like that. So today I'm going to have to play catch up with myself and really gosh, what is the metaphor I'm looking for? Burn rubber? Really burn rubber on this? I was gonna say, I'm not really gonna burn the midnight oil because I need to get this done before midnight, so midnight oil is gonna be shelved for this one. It's so much easier to make mistakes when you work digitally. It's the main reason why I like working digitally is that I can just try things out and there's no pressure. Especially when you're working like in this sort of black-white graphic sense. You want to really be able to try out things because some things may work better than others. All right. All right, here we go. Almost almost done. At least with this part. Never really done. Gotta say, I haven't read a comic book in a while. Really, really feeling the absence of that. I think the last comic book I read was either Seconds by Brian Lee O'Malley, which that was a pretty good book. I really liked that a lot. Very, in a fashion resemblant of some of the magical realism elements in Scott Pilgrim. Seconds takes a rather ordinary scenario. In this instance, a woman who is creating her own restaurant from the ground up after working years as a chef and elevates it. Brian Lee O'Malley takes that story and elevates it to another realm, as there's an element introduced of a magical entity who lives within the walls of the restaurant and who exists as a sort of, I guess, personification of the building. At least that's what I remember. Should go back and read that sometime. I'm a really big fan of Hellboy, and I haven't been keeping up with the last, what was it? The last trade paperback collection, Hellboy in Hell, which is a little bit cheesy, but I guess that was inevitable, right? It's, it's Pulp Fiction schlock, but it's fun. And there are some interesting introspective moments to it, too. I think that's the main reason why I liked the Hellboy series, was that there was a certain amount of introspection to the main character, well, to any most of the characters, there's a groundedness to the mythology that the stories pull from. But I haven't really kept up with it, and I'm sort of at this place where it's like if I never read any of the remainder of the story, I can live with myself. I'm not gonna feel like I missed anything. I'm sure, like, I'm sure that like 5 years from now, when Emmer's at that age, or when our kid is at that age where they thrive with more alone time and I have less going on, I might actually want to like dig through some comics again. We'll see. Mostly I just work. I work and I take care of children. That's my life right now. Take care of this house that we live in. Plan for the future. As we collectively plan for our escape from Portland. Portland is just not an affordable place to live anymore. Especially if you're like an artist, a freelancer. In so many ways, I feel like so many people I know are being squeezed out of the city by increasing rental prices, through gentrification. There's so much. It's really quite terrible. Um, it's really had a negative impact overall on this city. Thank God for that. Or whoever you want to thank. Mostly thanks Sid Dale. That's the composer. I'm not entirely sure why, but I felt anxious about inking this panel, which is why I'm getting to it kind of last. It's just a very complicated panel, and there's a lot going on. I guess that's why. You know, basically my goal as an artist these days is that I want to make things that I would love to see done in the media, and I don't see done because so much of media today is really, I mean, almost kind of paint by numbers, to use a metaphor. Most Hollywood movies are written on the format of having these emotional beats at these exact time signatures. And television shows are often treated likewise. There's just, you know, kind of a lot of throwaway pulpy stories these days, and there's nothing wrong with that, but when it's all that you can really, it's all that's really available to consume, kind of wears on you. I'm getting a call. I'll get back to y'all.